All right, we back. Day 5 of the Little Durk trial. It's kind of confusing with a lot of people out there saying day 3. For some reason, they only want to count the days where the prosecution and the defense lawyers are going back and forth. Jury selection and last week, Thursday and Friday, was part of the trial. That's when the trial started. So for us, we're going to keep our numbers like this. This is day 5. Here we go. We got to pull up some of the recent updates of what's going on in court today. Some of our usuals, some of the media that's in the building, some of the journalists that are in the building, the reports that they're putting on their Instagrams, putting on their Twitters. We're going to read through it. We're going to watch some of these videos. Then we're going to get into some of the media backlash that's been going on. You got people like Trap Lil Ross. He had to hire 2 security guards. He's getting threats out there right now. He's starting to tweet stuff like, I don't know if I can keep, putting these updates out here. They're running down on me. They're trying to tell me to delete my tweets. I'm going to pull up a couple reactions related to that from pretty much what he kicked off. The alleged, I don't want to use the S word. Is Dirk doing anything wrong via his opening statement with his lawyer? The whole, it's really OTF Vani that is the ringleader here. And then the next day, OTF Didi's lawyer coming out and saying, oh, by the way, he's running a illegal car ring with the cartel. That's going to keep taking shape. We're still waiting on OTF Jam and OTF Vani to take the stand. There's a third informant as well that we plan on seeing that's going to be pretty destructive. We're still waiting on those big events, but there's still stuff going on. There's still people taking the stand. There's still testimony from the detectives going on, etc. Let's get into it. Let's start to walk it down. We're going to start here with some of the videos up on Trap Lil Ross's Instagram, or should we go to our lawyer first? Let's go to our lawyer first. Let's see what he got going on for today. All right, let's go.
Lil Durk, day 3, trial update, what happened in the morning. First off, recording outside of the courthouse in Los Angeles in a suit is crazy. It is so hot just walking down the street to my hotel. I'm sweating balls. Shout out to Ross. Keep doing your thing. Here's what happened on day 3. So we're halfway through the morning. We're on lunch break right now. And the detective, FBI special agent, continued his testimony from yesterday. He's kind of interesting, if you ask me. One, he's African-American. He's got tightly braided cornrows. He's testifying in this hip-hop murder case where the defendants are all African-American, the jurors are all white, the judge is white. I guess there's some Hispanic jurors, and the entire audience is African-American. When he reads...
There's no black jurors?
The text messages into evidence, oftentimes there's the use of the N-word there a lot, and he never says the N-word. He always replaces it with dude or folks, and there's always like a little murmur and a thought and some opinions amongst the crowd about that. In general, what's really interesting about him, and the judge kind of cautioned the prosecution about him, that he's giving a lot of opinions and he's giving a lot of his take on what these text messages mean. And to the extent the prosecution wants him to act like some type of opinion expert, fine. But guess what? On cross, we're going to let the defense go deep into his opinions and why he thinks the way he thinks. And that's exactly what happened. Brian Steele just finished his cross. Let me first talk about the evidence that came in through this special agent, and then let's talk about how Steele dealt with it on cross. So first, just finishing up on some of the testimony that came up yesterday. I mentioned in my last video, I'd bring it back for you. So NBA Youngboy came up, there was a post, there was a comment, it said something about NBA, and this agent went, oh, this is the start of the beef, and there was an objection. They went to sidebar, and basically this is not part of the evidence. This is not part of the allegations. Any claims of beefs between Youngboy and Durk are just extraneous to what has been presented, and so that conversation was stopped. Then there was this text message coming shortly after the murder in Los Angeles of Mr. Robinson, and Durk is saying, I think it was Taekwondo, but there's a text allegedly from Durk where he says, I don't want to squash nothing. I'm not talking about no peace. You want peace, take a piece of the switch. And that dovetailed with the earlier testimony from the detective or the forensics guy about a switch being used on a Glock as part of this murder. Now, the defense hasn't gotten to address that yet, but their point obviously will be, assuming they admit that that is Durk, in fact, sending that text message, is a lot of the response to the other texts, including the text about turned me into an animal, about the get back. These are texts from 2 years ago. Now, this came after the murder, but the point is always going to be the same from the defense, which is he's incredibly close to King Von. This is a narrative and a storyline that exists in the music industry. And the idea that he's not going to talk shit or be enraged, there was actually a moment in the cross where he went to the FBI agent and he's like, hey, wasn't Quando putting out songs trolling, Durk and that whole side of this saying, oh, Lil Tim is now King Tim, and laughing about the death of King Von and really trolling very hard. How did you expect that Lil Durk would react to seeing all that? And the agent had no response. Like, how did you want him to react? The agent just kind of paused, and Brian Steele was like, okay, I'll take that silence. I heard a pregnant pause, and I'll take that silence to mean what it means. And then he moved on, and it was powerful testimony. And a lot of this stuff about get back, revenge, fuck you, can be seen through the lens of somebody who's extremely grief-stricken. This also went into some of the other text messages. There's text messages between Duty and Durk, and this is shortly after the murder of King Von, the killing of King Von, if you want to call it that. And Little Tim gets out on bond, and there's a text message where Durk is asking, allegedly it's Durk asking for the address, and there's somebody saying, oh, I know somebody who can get the address, and they get the address of Little Tim. And the defense's point was, okay, let's say you're the person closest to you in life is murdered. Don't you then follow all of the happenings of the defendant in that case? And don't you follow whether he gets out on bond? And don't you follow whether he's not whether he's convicted? What did you expect him to do? And to the extent they at some point got the address for this guy, was there ever any shootings at the address? No. Did anybody ever show up at the address and harass Little Tim? No. Did anybody ever take any type of shot at Little Tim? No. So what does the fact that Durk is following Little Tim's bond and the status of his criminal case have to do with anything? Isn't that just you building a narrative as opposed to you showing evidence that makes this guy guilty of murder for hire? There was also an interesting set of voice notes. It's not clear where it was sent or how it was sent, but the feds have these voice notes. It's Little Durk's voice. It's after the killing of Mr. Robinson, and in it, it says something like, something called Durk about whatever. For one, you ain't done shit. Your homie Quando can die. We can set up a boxing match for $20 to $30 million. Now, I think that's gone over the heads of everybody in that courtroom, because the people are suggesting that that was somehow a beef or an invitation from Durk saying, hey, Quando, I'm still mad at you, and if you want, we can set up a boxing match for $20 to $30 million. That's how it's been played out in the court record, but that makes no sense because he's saying your homie Quando can die. He's obviously talking about someone else. He's not talking about setting up a boxing match with Quando. Then we got to the text messages shortly after the murder, a couple months, I think 4 months after. There's a group chat and there's conversations about Jam, ready to snitch, clear as day. That was allegedly a text message sent by Durk on the group chat. Jam, ready to snitch, clear as day. And then later Durk is in that message saying, as long as we don't break, we're good. Actually, he said as long as we don't break, he can tell them whatever. Now, on the stuff about Jam, the way Steele dealt with it on cross is he kind of left a lot of it open and seeming to set it up for the Jam cross. And then he basically said, hey, detective, did you know anything about something about Jam and his son and what school he went to and what soccer team he was on? And the text like, nah, I don't know anything about that. And the same kind of went in this particular cross-examination where Steele was setting it up for stuff that's to come in the trial. Like, hey, did you ever find out anything about this other tour that Little Durk was going to go on a tour right around the time of the killing of Mr. Robinson, and the tour was canceled? Did you hear anything about that? Do you know who was in charge of canceling the tour? And one of the reasons why it's our policy is we can't always get our hands on recording equipment. Somebody might call you and you need to take it down and you might not be able to set it all up. And Steele's like, but these were scheduled interviews. You met with him all these times over so many weeks. And the guy's like, oh yeah, well, I was just talking about generally. Each situation is different. It depends on what you're looking for. And Steele's like, how about the truth? If you're looking for the truth, is it good to have a recording of every one of the interviews that you can schedule ahead of time? I think the final part about the cross that I found interesting was setting up the link between Von and Vonnie and establishing that Von and Vonnie treated each other like family. They called each other cuz. Vonnie was in charge of Von's finances. Vonnie was Von's personal assistant. When Von died, Durk gave Vonnie a job, and then Vonnie was access to Durk's finances. Vonnie would book planes and use Durk's credit card and pay that credit card, and Durk would never know about those particular details of what was going on. Vonnie had the freedom to do that. I suspect what you're going to see happen is Jam will take the stand, Vonnie will take the stand, the crosses will come out, more evidence, more testimony will come out, and then this agent and other agents will probably be recalled to the stand to then ask them further questions about their sort of conclusions and opinions in light of the full body of evidence surrounding Jam, and Vani. That's halfway through day 3. That's a really long video. If you watch till the end, shout out to you. We will cover the rest of day 3 in the afternoon.
Thank you, homie. We appreciate that. Thank you for all the insight of what's been happening on day 3/day 5. If people are counting the jury selection last week. All right, there's a lot that happened there. Obviously, this is probably his take on the first half of the day over there on Central California time. So, as I was listening to like the first 60% of what he was breaking down, my thoughts were going through my mind like, there's a lot of weak stuff here still. How many times are we going to continue to say that us having conversations here on stream, somewhere in the barbershop, somewhere in the hallway, somewhere on lunch break at work amongst each other, talking what our common sense, what our street knowledge tells us, and we'd be like, come on, man, we know damn well when they in that video stepping on Cash and pointing down and shooting at the floor, whatever, those type of gestures, that mean that FBG Cash got stepped on as if they the ones that did it and they got the videos. You know that we did it. But that don't play in court. Like, you can't be like, oh, look at this video right here where they're stepping on the Cash. That's a reference. That means that they're guilty of killing FB. It don't work like that in court. Evidence got to be evidence, and proven beyond reasonable doubt is a real thing. The burden of the proof is on the prosecution side. So it's a lot of weak stuff. I feel like when you got the text messages relating to evading law enforcement, for example, everybody just keep their mouth shut. OTF Jam might be snitching, but as long as we stay with our stories, we're going to be good. That's like saying we got something that going on where we broke the laws. That right there, that's fuzzy. You got to deal with that. But all these text messages related to, yo, homie, where was your pipe at when you got shot that night? Or even looking for Lil Tim's address. And like they said, did anything happen at Lil Tim's address? Did it get shot up? Was there any disputes there? No. But text messages like that, if that's what the government is outside of the witnesses, because the witnesses obviously are becoming that much more important to the government's case here. But outside of the witnesses, if you're building, like we said in the chat, just narratives, that evidence, even though I think it's pieces of guilt in the real world, in court, we can't go for it. They come in a little weak so far. We can't go for that in court. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. That last part, though, the narrative about OTF, Vani, and Lil Durk and their work relationship, I like that division there. Saying that Lil Durk employed OTF Vani because OTF Vani is really King Von's people. So as like an ode to King Von, I give your man a job after King Von died, because you was managing King Von when King Von was alive. That was already reported. That already came out day 3, right? Monday, right? So now King Von passed away. I pick up the tab since I got power and I got job opportunities. I put King Von's cousin on. I give him a job. Got him out here running around swiping credit cards, booking flights, and doing all types of managerial stuff. And I ain't even overseeing him like that. This is really a King Von favor. King Von, I consider my brother. So I got to take care of this guy, Vonnie, like family. So he's running around with the corporate Amex credit card, doing all types of stuff. If he happens to want to go kill Quando Rondo and them, his defense shouldn't say this, but and he does it on my corporate credit card, I gave the guy a job off of King Von's strength. That's a cool division that they put out there. And I'm not saying I trust everything that comes out of King Yellow's mouth. I really don't trust King Yellow that much at all, to be honest. But King Yellow, when he did that little video take snapping in his car, I don't care, it's Nino Brown. They just told on Vonnie that Durk and them rats or whatever, blah, 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 blah. One thing that it is says that Vonnie was never a member. And when he says that, I mean, he's still a Chicago nigga. He's still tapped in enough. They're at war. They know who's who. They know who the true hitters are, right? Did Vonnie ever have that reputation? It doesn't seem to be that. It doesn't seem to be that. Even academics, when he was on the phone with Vonnie's father, I was watching some of that earlier today. He asked him, like, it seems like Vonnie didn't have no street or no gang member reputation, which is fine. You still around the wolves. But if you never had that reputation, amongst the hitters, so to speak, or the real gang members that's actually doing shit or calling shots or putting hits in the street and putting money up and doing all the dirt, that kind of still loans to even more so why Dirk would trust him, even though he's not just here. Go ahead, go do a job. You know what I'm saying? Go run around, do whatever. Don't put no flights in my name. He's still interesting. Now, if they get him up there and they cross him, this would be the wrong part. Now, if they say, is it true that, you know, we just came with you to support you carry out the murder because you're the one with the motive. You're the one that's really hell bent, and I'm just over here putting it in my music. We don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm just half joking. Once again, we're gonna get to that defense opening statement later on, but let's stay with today's updates before we get to what's happening with the media and niggas getting pressed. All right, Trapler Ross. You see here, green tie is today. Well, we're calling day 5. Let me refresh this page to see if there's any other new ones that came up. Oh yeah, we got a 4th one. Oh shit, we got 6 here now. All right, let's do it. We got work to do. Let's do it.
I believe what just happened inside the courthouse. This isn't even about Durk. This one's actually about me. There's been a very controversial post that has been going around. Everybody's very upset that I basically did a tweet about that post that Didi had reshared. Right? The prosecution had worded it in a way that it sounded like Didi had posted it, and I posted that on Twitter. I came back, and Didi's lawyer spent a whole hour breaking down in meticulous detail how this was a repost. It wasn't an original post. Didi hadn't typed the post. He had reposted it into a group chat. It was that post that said, at Quando Rondo, we're your pipe at gang. He had reposted it into a chat along with his own comment, basically saying he looking crazy. Like he basically, it was he playing crazy, right? So as soon as I got out of court after hearing Didi's lawyer argue that point very, very well, maybe a little bit too well, maybe the point had already come home before, you know, he talked about it for a much longer time than he needed to talk about it. And I felt like he might have brought more attention to the fact that that was a bit of an unsavory thing to repost. I posted that. As soon as I got out, I said, Didi's lawyer just clapped back. But for some reason, it seems like the people at the courthouse, the people that have been following this case, and Durk's team specifically, they're not reading everything.
All right. We don't care too much about that. I get it. He's a hot guy out there right now, in and out of this court. If he does any videos, any posts, any tweets that either side, well, not the other side, it's really the defense side. Everybody that's out there, Team Durk, don't like, they own him. Because he's a large platform right now. He's one of the largest platforms already in urban coverage space regardless, right? And now he's actually there being a journalist. So they want him in their favor, of course. And anything he puts out that's opposite is going to be problematic as he goes in and out. But we don't care too much about that right now. We want more of the update stuff. What's this one?
All right, so a couple of really interesting things just came out of the courtroom, and it kind of relates to some of these alleged gang connections that have been brought up. So they kind of teased some of the things that it sounds like maybe OTF Jam or, you know, some of the other cooperating witnesses are going to say, and they basically hinted, we might be hearing some of that testimony today, but we basically heard an update that apparently one of those folks is going to call Didi the leader of Tay-Town, not a shooter. There was someone that kind of inferred that he was a shooter. And basically they're saying, no, they're going to claim that he is a leader of the Tay-Town set. Apparently, another participating witness that is cooperating with the government is basically going to say that Durk was mad at members of O Block for not protecting King Von at the time of the shooting, okay, which is interesting because that kind of is going to contradict these claims that apparently, you know, King Von had said to Vonnie before he passed away after getting shot, why didn't you protect me? Why'd you let him shoot me like that? Now, what's crazy is apparently OTF Jam overheard a conversation with
a million people could have been saying that publicly and privately, man. Why y'all let the bag or the main guy? I mean, King Von's moving around as the top guy that night. Like any Durk saying that. So how incriminating is that? I'm mad at y'all. Y'all are running with him as his team, his eyes, his ears, hood security. How y'all let that happen to him? Allegedly, King Von said that out of his own mouth in the back seat. Why y'all let him shoot or whatever, right? So that's not incriminating. That's not this is more weak shit that the government is using.
With Durk, members of O Block, Didi, and Booney Mo, basically saying that apparently Durk had actually paid for members of O Block to have an Airbnb in Atlanta, and he was mad that they didn't slide for Von when they were at that Airbnb in Atlanta. It's crazy. So another thing that was interesting, obviously we're hearing all this stuff about Durk said, don't book no flights in my name. And they're trying to say, oh, you know, Durk didn't know what was going on. Like them flights ain't have nothing to do with him. There wasn't more details. Now, this wasn't connected to the murder of Lil Pab, but apparently there is a text between Durk and that same guy who was ordering his flights, Jason, back in December the 3rd, 2020, after Von died, where Durk was saying they need flights, blood. He's saying who? He's saying Dee. He's saying Booney Mo. He's saying Christopher Wright. So another thing that came up was that they basically kind of went back and forth and showed some of the stuff that King Von was posting when he was still alive. Now, Von actually posted an Instagram of himself and Lil Durk when he was alive, and it had a pretty crazy caption. It said, if Smirk want an N-word dead, then an N-word dead on O. You know how I'm coming. If you got it, I got it. If I got it, you gave it to me. Durk's one of my top 5 people alive. I love you. Now, look. That don't prove anything. King Von made that before he was even dead, but it just kind of like builds up this close relationship between, you know, Von and Durk and the get back and the slide in and the footage of Von getting.
Let me take back some of what I said prior, because there could be the bigger play, and it's just development, right? It's like a movie with a development phase of developing the characters, developing the story before we get anywhere near the climax, before we get anywhere near the big action scenes, and then of course the climax of the movie leading towards the conclusion. Yeah, I think like that sometimes. Meaning, if this is, because we see trials, prosecution, government, feds, whoever, sometimes state, they run their shit a different way. Sometimes you see people come out the gate, guns blazing, you know, OTF jam, allegedly on a stand, day 3, you know, sometimes it's guns blazing. When we look at the Diddy case, Cassie taking a stand damn near like day 2, day 3, whatever, immediately. That's a combination of coming out guns blazing, but also she was pregnant and they wanted to get her in and then get her out before they lost accessibility to her. Like, needs to be officially on maternal leave from everything. Like, I got cause to not be coming back and forth to court and shit. Like, I'm going into labor. I just had a newborn. You see what I'm saying? So there's this cases where, you know, they could, if this is going to be a long case, and I haven't seen any reports of how long this trial will be, like the length of it anticipated. If it's a 2-month anticipated trial, then these text messages, these backs, when we see stuff that we think is like, what are you going to do with that? Of King Von posting, yo, I'll kill somebody for Durk. We push that aside right now. But if all they're doing is building the storyline of how deep the King Von and the Lil Durk relationship is, hence, by the time we get to the climax, or by the time we get to the action scenes, speaking in parallels, the jury will really, really understand, and they'll just be like, oh no, this makes sense. The revenge of this makes sense. The passion of this makes sense, because 2 weeks ago, we knew how much they loved each other as brothers. So let me not dismiss some of the building blocks that we're seeing right now, because only time will tell. Is this the strongest shit that y'all got? Text messages that can be easily interpreted or like veered away as like, that's just narrative y'all building. Ain't got no real ties to that. Or if this is just theming, putting the pieces together, and then when we get to the center of this shit, you guys will see the real movie. We'll see.
Killed, which was obviously shown previously. Now, we then moved on. This detective gave a lot of information, but we then moved on to cross-examination. And look, I am a little bit upset. I'm a little bit salty that Brian Steele said a few things that I know not to be true from my research. But that said, I'll keep it real. Brian Steele did an amazing job, and he really, really grilled this detective. It kind of gives a bit of a stale taste in your mouth when it's like, damn, he really grilling them, but then he's saying a few things that aren't right. He's messing a few names up. He got King Von's name wrong numerous times. He called him K. Von Bennett numerous times. It's just kind of like, bro, like, come on, man. But I don't think the judge knew. I don't think the judge worked it out. I don't think he cared. And we're going to do a full update on everything that was going on with Brian Steele right after this video. I'll let you know what's going on. He did actually do a very good job, but he did make a few mistakes. All right, so a couple of really interesting.
Then again, I ain't an attorney in court right now, but okay. All right, let's see what this one is. Jury shown Durk's Redman music video where he kills Quando lookalike. Brian Steele clapped back immediately, says Quando also made a video where they killed Durk lookalike. What is going on in court today?
There was a crazy moment in court today when they finally played Lil Durk's unreleased Redman music video. They didn't play the whole video and they didn't even play the song, but they played the intro with sound. And I'm not gonna lie, it was looking like a great video. It was looking like a big budget video. They had an actor that looked just like Quando Rondo. He was dressed in the outfit that Lil Tim was wearing when King Von got killed. I believe the video was made by infamous video maker Jerry Production, who's produced a lot of videos for Durk as well as Von. I'm not gonna lie, the video looked fire. It looked big budget, but obviously what was bad was it showed Lil Durk sliding in the back of a van with what looked like a Mac, but like, you know, sort of like a mini machine gun type gun, pulling up on this Quando Rondo lookalike, shooting him dead in the street, shooting him on the ground, standing over him, pulling off his mask and revealing that it was Durk that did it. Now, I'm not going to lie, the video looked fire. I wish I could have watched the whole thing, but obviously it wasn't a great look for the jury. And what made it even worse is it had all this dramatic kind of movie style score music in the background. And if I'm real with you, it really built up a vibe. It really built up this kind of terrifying murder, true crime vibe in the video that I'm sure Durk is probably regretting from when he made that video. But it was very interesting because Brian Steele kind of clapped back.
Yeah, because Durk gets to sit there. They said a lot of stuff that was coming up yesterday, Durk was having physical reactions that were visible to the onlookers, like, these fucking guys, I can't believe they're doing all of that while they're standing in In-N-Out Burger. Or, can't believe, why did I send these guys of all people? But he gets to see himself too. They get to bring up the Murder Man video and say, look at this guy, Durk, right here. And he gets to sit there and watch himself like, why the fuck did I record that? Yeah, one of a million dumb things you did.
Said that this video is art. He pointed out that Quando Rondo had also made a video where they depicted Durk getting shot and killed. It was interesting because they showed a screenshot of the Lil Durk lookalike in the video. That was shown by the prosecution. But weirdly, they didn't show the music video for that. So weirdly...
Hold on. Because I don't remember them. But if you told me just off rip, yo, Quando Rondo and them, because I remember even, was it NBA YoungBoy's tape? Like the only, was it his album release? He only had like Quando Rondo and Little Tim featured on it and some shit. Remember that? There's some bugged out shit like, oh, that's symbolic, right? But if I go to YouTube and I just type in Quando Rondo, this is King Von music video. You got Quando Rondo Soul Reaper. You got Little Tim right here. There you go. I see him. I wonder if there's any visuals in here that's like really bugged out. Well, probably. This is 5 years ago, right? So they were fighting back. They were definitely fighting back. They were absolutely fighting back. All right, how about this one? So this is the video. This one got 21 million views. This is the one allegedly when Durk has the lyric in the Gucci Mane song Rumors, got in a shootout and did a video with the same shirt. This is the video right here, right? That they was doing the same night that they bumped into King Von in the parking lot, right? And then they release it called End of Story. And everybody knows King Von shit is called the what story, right? The all his story series, right? End of Story. Yeah, they was trolling back heavy. What? They was trolling back super heavy. Oh, this is a still. They just used this picture over the audio of End of Story. Wow. Quando Rondo Want Me Dead. Oh, yeah, it was a collab joint that they did. Quando and NBA YoungBoy together. That's what it was. Go pick your mans up. Can y'all see this clear enough? Yeah. Brian Steele, you got to know about these things so you could clap back. Absolutely. Absolutely. Both sides was on their shit. 100%. 100%. And if one comes into court, it's only right to be aware of the other one so that you can get your fight on. All right. Durk roasted Jam for snitching. Said he went out like a GD. Oh. Why you gotta do that right now? Not now, man. You fucking banging right now. You went out like a GD. Diddy called him Alpo ass dude. Oh my goodness.
All right, so we just heard a couple of really interesting updates from the court about how Durk and them were treating OTF Jam. Now, obviously, they worked out that he was apparently getting ready to snitch. We've heard more about these messages. You know, they're basically saying Jam getting ready to snitch, clear as day. They were cutting him off. There was apparently a conversation we heard about previously where, you know, Durk and them had taken him into a bathroom stall at a music video shoot and said to him, "You making it hot, you catching bodies, you getting the feds on us, you need to chill out, you might need to leave town." And then there were a whole bunch of back and forth messages that we saw where Jam had apparently said, like, "Hey, why is everyone scared of me? Ever since that day, nobody want to be around me. What's going on?" Well, now we heard even more details from the conversation, and it seemed like Durk was kind of cooking Jam. This was a little bit more context they added. He said Jam just ready to snitch blood, clear as day on Lil Mo, and then he basically said, wait, what did he say? He basically said,
"Hey, we got that. We got that already in the pipeline, Jay. If you're talking about the last one with Trap Lil Ross in his thumbnail, yeah, we got that clip. We got that lined up for sure. Don't scare me like that. You said go to point. I thought maybe a Jam or Vonnie update hit or something. Nah, but thank you, everybody. Let's keep our eyes and ears open because court is in session right now.
something along the lines of like, blood not even down here, but he F with Lil Tay, he different. They said he pulling a GD move. So Durk acting like all the GDs are the ones who be telling. Obviously, he's got a big gang war with the GDs, but they're not allowed to talk about that today. But then Durk went on to say he a real goofy. Now, DD then sent an image into the group chat, the OTF group chat, that was a screenshot of a chat that he'd had with Jam. Or basically he had showed the screenshot of it and he said, Jam said, "What's up? Is it fuck him? Let us know what it is. Jam want to talk to you. Stand on lawyer so he can be there on the 20th. So it sounded like they weren't sure if Jam was already telling. Jam was asking for a lawyer, asking if he was going to stand on it, saying Jam want to talk to you, all this kind of stuff. And then the prosecution revealed that at this point, apparently during this conversation, or basically on August the 24th, 2023, Jam was already in custody in Chicago. And then there was another reply, Durk saying about Jam. They said he going to tell soon. And then Didi replied he thinks he can break us down on Mom for real. And then apparently Didi had said in description of Jam, he a Alpo ass dude, obviously in reference to the infamous snitch over on the East Coast. And then somebody in the chat that was called Loyal basically said, beware of everyone, not just Jam. And then after that, there was some more back and forth where that person went on to say at this point, for real, weird ass people. And then after that, apparently Booney said that the feds had been going to the jails, talking to everybody that came in. They'd basically been hearing rumors that inside the jails, inside the prisons in Chicago, is anyone that had anything to do with Durk, the cops were sitting them down and trying to talk to them. They're saying they're trying to sit everyone down and ask for the ABC. And that's when Durk said that line. He said, as long as we don't break, they can tell them whatever. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was a pretty crazy exchange. All right, so we just heard a couple of really interesting updates from the court about how Durk and them were treated.
Like I said, I think the stuff that's about anti or evading authorities, that hurts more than just the hood shit. Like, yo, gang, where your papers at? That hurts more. I think we got two more.
Okay, so there was some crazy evidence that was shared today. I'm going to be very careful about what I say. I don't want Durk's team to scream at me outside the courtroom telling me to delete everything like they did today. But look, I'm just going to be careful about what I say. They brought up some of these Duty Low messages. There were messages back and forth with Duty Low. Now, I want to just be very careful what I say. It seemed like they were inferring that Durk was kind of going back and forth in these messages. But I don't know if that can be 100% proven. They were saying that there were a lot of messages that were deleted. Durk's efforts to apparently delete his messages very regularly seemed like he was actually having some success with deleting these messages, okay? It seemed to suggest that Duty Low had gone back and forth with somebody that was saved as Slime Life Shorty. Now, I know Slime Life Shorty is someone in Atlanta who was brought up in, the Young Thug situation. And there was even kind of a whole thing where, Young Thug had dropped that song, talk about Slime Life Shorty, I hope you put down your 40. But it seemed like that was what Duty had Durk saved as, but I can't be 100% sure. But the context of the conversations seemed to have Duty kind of going back and forth with Durk. They basically seemingly had a bit of a celebration. So what was interesting, right, was apparently Duty Low had done a reaction, like a laughing reaction to a message that said no, which was right after Quando Rondo was screaming on the street no over Lil Pab's body. Now, they had basically recovered that reaction, but what they didn't have was the original messages. So we don't know for sure, but it seemed like it would have been a reaction to Durk's message saying no, but we don't have that. And then basically we saw this back and forth with Duty Low, and basically before anyone says Duty Low's telling or he's cooperating or anything like that, The feds basically said that they had numerous warrants for numerous iCloud accounts for Duty Low. It was hot for Duty Low, and the feds were onto him. And clearly, they I don't know how they did it. I don't know if he even know they got it, but they got all of his iCloud info from his phone. But basically, they went back and forth. Duty Low had apparently said to this person that was saved in his phone, "Keep your head on, slime. In the pain, I'm with you for life." Sorry, no, this was the person said to Duty Low, "Keep your head on, slime. I'm in this pain. I'm with you for life. I'm drilling about this shit." Duty Low said, "I love you, slime." They said, "I love you back, Slat." It's up about this shit. After that, this person was messaging Duty Low saying, "Where you at? I'm at the crib." Duty Low saying, "Call me." And then that person that saved the Slime Life Shorty sends Duty Low Quando Rondo's number, and he says Quando's number. They said it's one of his phones. And then the next day, there's a message back and forth where that person that saved the Slime Life Shorty, that it seemed like it could have been Durk, but not 100% confirmed at this stage. They basically said, "I've got an N-word from Savannah who got drops." Obviously, Savannah, Georgia is where Quando Rondo is from, drops his locations. And Durk says, "This is him. You want his number?" Duty Low says, "Yeah," and he sends the number. Now, obviously, it was made very clear nothing was necessarily slid about. They never tried to do a drive-by on Lil Tim or anything like that in Savannah. But obviously, these messages were going back and forth, and it's not a great look. But look, I'll let you know more when I have more context. Okay, so there was...
Okay, good grab for Jay, Ahmad, and our beautiful member Jay. So here's the picture. And this is going to lead us into our Twitter update journalist. But here it is, Jammy the Bull. And here we are, somebody posting a picture of OTF Jam on the stand. Now, is that the stand? Gotta be, yeah. I mean, the monitor in front of him, right? That's the stand, right? Jammy the Bull, aka OTF Jam, has officially taken a stand 1 hour ago. Pray for Durk. Ooh. Somebody took a picture of one of the court monitors or something. I wonder if the judge will have a problem with that if he finds out that shit like that can't made its way to the internet. I'll have a speech with the court tomorrow about shit like that. But okay, let's go here then. Let's go. Where is let's go to Michael Blackshire. He was the fastest and the most current yesterday. Let's give him a refresh. Oh fuck. His last update is 1 hour ago as well. But his last tweet is OTF Jam is now on the stand as well. All right, let's still get to the lead up. Oh my God, look at Traplo Ross here with the security guards. All right, let's get to the lead up though. Oh shit. All right, y'all. Jam's on the stand as we speak. We're gonna keep looking for these updates 16 hours ago. No, all right, starts here. Shout out to Michael Blackshire. 4 hours ago. Prosecutors this morning showed screenshots. Make sure I'm on a small screen for y'all. Yes. Screenshot from Lil Durk's phone of the DJ Academic's Instagram post of Quando Rondo shot in Georgia. The shooting that happened at a gas station in Blackshear, Georgia on May 2nd, 2021. Is that known to be a part of some of his stalking stuff? But either way, just showing the continued attempts that you would still link back to Durk. Not good in front of the jury. So when you're sitting here just talking about, oh, all these coincidences when it comes down to the In-N-Out Burger and the flights booked and the LA and the BMW and the Uber and the stalking camera footage or stoplight footage, stop sign footage that's captured of our movements and all of this stuff, the shooters on the stand for the LA thing. Let's also talk about this Georgia situation of Quando Rondo getting shot at the gas station. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn. But prosecutors show unreleased footage of the Redman music video. Detective Mr. Banks is shooting at an individual that oddly looks like Mr. Bowman. He stalks and shoots him multiple times. Still, I'm going to object the word oddly. Judge Fitzgerald, it's striked. You know the thing about the strike thing that always gets me? Did that happen in a movie? Did a movie do that? Either way, it doesn't matter. The point that I'm trying to think if it happened in A Time to Kill with Samuel L. Jackson. Either way, the point that I'm making is Like we always say, the jurors are human. They're supposed to abide by certain guidelines, but they are human. And sometimes it's tactical to say certain things, allow some of the pressure, some of the objections, some of the even being held in contempt of court, whatever, to get your message into their ears. Certain words, certain things where you know you're crossing the line as a lawyer, but you get it like it's worth me saying this way so they can hear that shit. And here comes the judge. The judge strike that from the record. I already heard it. They heard it already. Technically, it's not supposed to be a part of the not the court minutes, but the transcripts. It's not supposed to be a part of your decisions. It's not supposed to be a part of the case. Stricken from the record, strike. But they heard it, and they do with that as they do within their own mental, So I always think about that and consider stuff like that. And some lawyers will purposefully push the line at certain times that they feel like it's worth it. Prosecutors again show the TMZ video of Quando Rondo in court. Lil Pop's mom walks out of court as they play the video again. Oh, she's there. Lil Pop's mother. Oh, okay. Still on cross, Brian Steele. Rondo, was laughing at Bennett's death. He anointed Lil Tim, King Tim, and he put that on social media. But Mr. Banks did not do this after the death of Mr. Robinson. Detective, no. Further separating Durk. We got to hear more from Lindsay and Dee Dee's lawyer. Or y'all just going to sit there and try to ride the coattails of maybe if Durk wins, which could be a tactic within itself. I know they're getting shit off in that court right now, but maybe they need to purposely take a back seat. Still, this was a fist fight, a melee, and Lil Tim is not involved in a fight. He pulls out a semi-automatic handgun and Bennett lays on the street helpless. Rondo drags his body like trash. Objection, right? What's the objection for that? He carries him, King Von, like a piece of trash. Brian Steele being colorful. He's good. His word selection, right? His word selection. Still, when was there ever self-defense of Mr. Leaks or defense of others? Prosecutors, objection. Still, I'm asking his opinion. Detective, individuals can be worried about their safety. Still, Lil Durk is an artist, correct? Artists connect with words. They paint pictures with lyrics. It's an expression of art. You don't like expression of art? Detective, I didn't say that. He's under pressure. Still, after the brutal murder, people who love the person get really hurt. Their entire being. Durk was hurt. They, King Von, did music together, right? Detective, yes. Detective's answering good, though. Good in the fact that one word answers, for example, 2-3 word answers instead of getting into your feelings and allowing the lawyer to draw you into back and forth where you start spewing minutes and minutes where the lawyer could sit there and say, keep talking for us all. And the court stenographer, the detective's doing good there, at least with his answers. To be real, to be fair here. Still, you are taking people's raw opinions and turning into your own narrative. Prosecutors, objection. Judge Fitzgerald, overruled. Still, people are grief-stricken and sad. They may say something. Is that true? FBI agent, that's possible. Still, what do you expect these people to think? FBI agent, nothing. Still, I hear pregnant pause, so I'll continue. I've never heard that saying before. Ladies in the chat, y'all could drop a comment. Pregnant pause? That's new for me. I'm used to hearing something like pin drop. How about that? What is a pregnant pause? All right, y'all got it. Trap Lord Ross had a back and forth with someone right as we were going back to court after our first break. This was over a tweet about OTF Didi from yesterday. Yeah, they on his heels. Prosecutors and the FBI agent read text from the morning from David Salisbury, Duty Low. Oh, that's the real name? Okay. And Lil Durk from 2020 after the shooting death of King Von. Salisbury or Duty Low, keep your head up. I know your pain. I'm with you. Drilling about this shit. Banks. I love you back. Slap or slab if they type that wrong. Oh, unless you're just calling him slap. All right. Traplo Ross has 2 bodyguards today. Support independent journalists so I can have a bodyguard type money. He puts his Cash App there. I'm gonna hit his Cash App. Hold on. Give me a second, people. Live. Why? Because he's helping us out. We're here with live coverage, and he's one of the resources we're using as a journalist inside, bringing out the news for us. Thank you for hold on, y'all. And it's cool if y'all do the same. Thank you for the same way y'all show me love here and support. I do the same to other people's channels, and one hand wash the other. Thank you for the Twitter support. From quotes. Sorry, it's true. Thank you for the Twitter. Wait. Thank you for the tweets. Tweets. From sorry, it's true. Continue. Add recipient. And he is $ money hustle guap. His name is Mills. Why I got Mills here? Michael Mills, maybe? Just make sure it's the right person. Money hustle guap. He's got a default picture of no, I ain't trying to request nothing. Damn, my bad. Hold on, people. Hold on. It's got a picture of Nipsey Hussle here. No, we don't want to do a request. We want to do a pay. Here we go. Pay. Yeah, same person, Mills. Thank you for tweets. From YT. Sorry, it's true. Review. Pay. My bad for the pause, people. It's worth it. It's worth it to show love to our fellow journalists and creators. All right, y'all. So let's inspire each other to support each other when we help each other. Okay, send a little 50 pack. You know what I'm saying? A little $50, little gas money as you're going back and forth to court or something like that. I don't think that's going to get him a security guard. If enough people read that, you know what I'm saying? You never know. But all right, let's keep it going. What else he got? OTF Jam first spoke to investigators May 23rd, on May 2023, my bad, at Stateville Correctional Center 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. FBI agent Jerron Fonby confirmed today, over 3 years ago, he's been cooperating. FBI agent used Cellbrite to retrieve text messages shown in court of Lil Durk going back to 2020, 6 years of text messages. Prosecutors also showed a group text in 2023 that included Lil Durk, OTF Didi, and OTF Booney Mo. Still, we're back to this. Let's go. A rat, a snitch can give false information? ? FBI agent. It depends on the person. Still, and you have to be careful with people like that. And when I say that, I mean OTF Jam, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Grant. Jones and, of course, OTF Didi. Group text from 2023 discussing OTF Jam, Lil Durk. He gonna tell soon. OTF Didi. He thinks he can break us down. Loyal. Feds be going to talk to everybody, whoever loyal is in this group chat. Lil Durk. As long as we don't break, they can tell them whatever. And then OTF Jam is now testifying. Let's refresh and see if he got any tweets since that. Nah, that's still his last tweet. Okay. Thank you, homie. All right, let's stay on the Twitter road for a second. Now that we know that Jam, as of an hour ago, took the stand. Let's stay on Twitter for a second, people. Let's go to Trap. Let's go back to him. Let's go. Damn, this is 2 hours ago. This is when he's talking about he might take a break from tweeting. Fuck. Damn. All right, let's go to Mel. Damn it. Let's go to Mel. Let's give Mel a refresh. And Mel's last is 1 hour ago also. Oh, also day 3 started with the moment of silence for Dolly Parton. Rest in peace. Dirk day 3. She got only like 3 tweets up. But shout out to Mel. 4, on redirect, the government introduced 2 other threads that were happening around the same time. Don't book no flights. We saw that piece. Keith Jones, alleged shooter. Lindsay, alleged shooter. The government, the flights were being purchased around the same time. So the text was about the flights. On recross, still gets back up. The flights in, the flights out, the flights being booked right around time as they're in In-N-Out Burger and all this shit. Couple hours after the shooting. It all looks very, very bad. It definitely looks bad. In another thread, 8:18, 11:19 a.m., Didi was sending Jason Smith the name and DOB. That's for the flights, I assume. The person that's booking them. Threading a couple interesting highlights from yesterday, day 2. We don't want to go back to day 2 right now. All right, let's stay here. For YSL folks, we got Slime Slat and Slime Life Shorty reference today. We saw that from Traplo Ross's video. Also, all of this was done outside of the presence of a potential jurors. It was attorneys and judges going over questionnaire responses and who they would like to strike. Jurors will be joining for whatever that is in about another 5 minutes. Okay, so they had a little discrepancy. All right. All right, thank you, Mel. Damn. All right, before I jump to anything else, because we do want to get into the media getting ass kicked. Let me double check the chat just to make sure nobody's in here like, your ARP, heads up, this just happened. Let me go to my own Twitter. Real quick. Check my ats. Rest in peace, Quad. That stuff for sure. Rest in peace, Quad. That's from the battle rap side. Okay. I don't see any ats that I'm getting on Twitter related to Jam. Let me type in OTF Jam. And let's go to latest. OTF Jam singing like a damn canary 24 seconds ago. I'll bring this up with y'all. Just in case we bump into something. All I did was go to a latest search on Twitter X. OTF Jam singing like a damn canary 35 seconds ago. Who put that? Are you there? Poetic Flacco puts OTF Jam officially takes a stand to testify. We saw that picture 1 minute ago. OTF Jam singing like a bird right now. Nigga pointed out everybody in court now playing is just content by Danny Crane. OTF Jam is the 3rd shooter in the car as confirmed in court. Now playing is just content by Danny Crane. Oh, they're playing the song for real in there? OTF Jam just snitched on my boy. Well, we know that. Academics was in shock after leaked photo of OTF Jam snitching on Stan surfaced. Yeah, it's bugged out. OTF Jam pointed out everyone and said, while in Miami with Durk, he seen an artist and said, I need them chains. I'm finna rob him. And he said, Lil Durk said, yeah, that's the Jam I want to see. So Jam is in there talking about unrelated stuff as well to probably paint a picture that he goes on Lil Durk's word. And when I say goes, I mean like criminal shit. Wow. Here's the leaked photo again. Leaked photo. OTF Jam. OTF Jam has now been on stand for over 1 hour. What do you guys think? A leaked photo. Yeah, most of these posts are going to be the photo of him up there. But who's got more of what he's saying? Oh my God. His picture up there on the stand is fucking viral, people. Jesus. Academics was in disbelief after seeing leaked. Yo, everybody's posting the photo. Oh my God. But we don't got nobody yet coming out with news of what he's saying. We might have to wait whether we come back later tonight. If it's that crazy, we'll come back tonight, or we'll just have to wait until tomorrow for our breakdowns. But oh man, he ain't OTF anymore. Duh, that's been the case, no? Yeah. We're going back 20. Yeah, that's wait. OTF Jams ratting on Durk. This formerly. It's just all the we don't have any journalists really yet, it seems. All right, we'll leave it alone. We'll still keep our eyes out for the rest of the stream. But let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move ahead as things develop. I want to talk about the media and this whole telling thing again. Not on some old controversial shit. Just how large it has gotten. I wonder if it'll be a narrative that carries for the rest of the trial. Definitely can continue to get inflamed based on how the defense for Didi and Lindsay and Durk continue, of course, right? But this was Trap Lil Ross earlier. What is this? How long ago is this? This is 2 hours ago, a little over 2 hours ago. I might take a break from tweeting. Durk's team acting very unprofessional, screaming, delete the tweet in my face outside the courtroom, leading to court marshals having to step in. Very disappointing and intimidating conduct towards the press in this case. You're not helping yourself if you're Durk's friends. You know, when you be having like these groupies, and there's one thing if you're like his brother, his cousin, his father outside, and you're just like, trust me, I'm tapped in with Durk's lawyers. They might not tell you that, but these people really be tapped. Family members be tapped in with the lawyers. Like they might after court have a phone call with Brian Steele, like Durk's father or something like that. Got access to the lawyers, you know. Like if it's coming from there, you might want to take heed. But some of y'all, we've seen cases where y'all done fucked up. Y'all had the judge like go off for like death threats that was like sent to lawyers and whatnot. Like fans will do stupid shit that will make the case worse. Like you don't want to show the courts that anybody that supports or is possibly out there affiliated with Durk is doing anything wrong. Court procedures, if they're not allowed to happen, especially when you have certain liberties like free rights of media, rights of freedom of speech and whatnot, you cracking that stuff outside of a federal court building. It's like the government is based on some of these things. It's not a go. It's not a go. And Trap Lil Ross, why piss him off? Why have him come home, turn on a camera and talk to all the people that dislike what he's reporting on as far as like the treatment for a civilian out there doing journalism, talking about Durk's people are fucking with me. They're gonna be like, oh, that's probably because what you're saying don't sound like it's in his favor. It's court of public opinion too. Y'all are not helping Durk by acting like that outside. Y'all are not. Before I go to Vlad, let's look at an occurrence of it. Now, I'm not trying to say that this was a rowdy one, but if the man don't want to talk to you, you kind of track them down a little bit. Did y'all see this one?
Hey, pleasure. Come here. Come on. Why you running?
I see you over there.
I come in peace and love, brother.
Too. I'm saying that Durk's having a good time in there, man.
No.
Brian's still killing it.
Yeah. Listen, I just wanted to make some clarity.
No, bro. I can't run out. No.
What we doing right there? While he started talking to him, it looked like he started to put a microphone on Trap Lil Ross. Trap Lil Ross is trying to take the guy's microphone off of him. That's not like a step to the side conversation. He put a microphone on his jacket.
I don't want to be late.
Listen, on behalf of the Ummah, brother,
Yeah.
you made a folly, a fugaboo, where you said that Lil Durk is blaming everything on Viney. For the person,
That's what
listen.
was said. That is what was said.
But
I can't do this right
Well, Trap Lil Ross is trying to give it back to him. He's not accepting it. He's not taking it.
now.
But no,
I
listen.
appreciate that.
I want you to
appreciate
clear
that.
it. No, I need you to clear that up. I need you to,
That's what I
brother.
said in court, bro.
But no, that's not what.
Trap Lil Ross does the right thing. He puts it on the ground. You're not gonna take it from me. There's a recorder or a microphone you just put on my jacket. He puts it on the ground so he can walk away.
Said in court. That's the legal team. Viney
Walk away without having his belongings, right? Did the right thing.
listen. Why are you running, my guy?
No, I
This is what I'm saying.
wanna be late for my
Viney,
reporting.
listen. This is all I'm telling you. Hold on, my
I'm gonna go
Belizean
inside,
brother.
man.
Listen, all I'm saying is Viney took accountability and then tried to drag Durk in.
Why did DD's lawyer say that Vonnie is acting with the cartel?
I have no idea. All I'm saying is we don't want you to put the narrative out there that Lil Durk is on the stand or testifying against anybody. You said Durk is blaming it on him.
He is.
He's not. The legal team is saying he has nothing to do with Vonnie except the responsibility for it. Do you understand? Do you understand the difference, sir?
That's media power. During the Drake and the Kendrick back and forth, academics was extremely powerful because they knew that Drake was speaking with academics and they were feeding information through academics. He became a hub in the whole scenario. Here, Trap Lord Ross is becoming extremely powerful because he's going. He's already been covering this type of shit for years now, but he's going to the court. You know, certain snitch allegations come out. 1090 Jake becomes the make or break. Powerful moment. You know what I'm saying? Or scenario. And that's why people are running down on Trap Lord Ross right now. You know, he does have to be careful. You know, technically he's doing nothing wrong. He's practicing his liberties, but his platform people feel could be, I mean, his platform should have nothing to do with the jurors, what they're hearing and interpreting. But once again, they're human. They're still going home. They might be pulling up the internet, even though they're not supposed to. And where might they go? The loudest, biggest platform. You never know. You never know. But it's just they got to be very careful with this type of stuff. Very, very careful. Speaking of media, I saw this recent tweet. What is this today, right? Yeah. Oh no, this is last night. DJ Vlad, he puts up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-word tweet. Durk is not a snitch. No problem. I'm not here calling Durk a snitch or I'm not saying that he did or he didn't. Y'all saw my takes. If you watch some of those videos related this week so far, I said, let's just wait till OTF Vonnie gets cross-examined by the defense. Let's just wait. Let's just be patient. Right? But this is, to me, the power of Durk, the influence of Durk, and to some degree, even the fear factor of Durk. Because that tweet, if we got common sense, is Vlad directly responding to his own tweets. His own tweets. So he had this one on the 24th, 2 days ago, prior to this. Oh, by the way, y'all, quick tweet. Durk is not a snitch. He had this one. People pick and choose who they want to call a snitch based on which artist they like. 6ix9ine fans will say he didn't snitch because they kidnapped him and he slept with their baby mother or his baby mother. Gunna fans will say he didn't snitch because he didn't take the stand in the YSL case. Durk fans say he's not snitching because it's his lawyer saying it. Either way, it's all opinion because snitching means different things depending on your values. That's what you call an about face. This tweet was clearly, it's on the 24th. It's the opening statement from Monday of Durk's defense saying Vonnie, is the ringleader and has the motive for actually being somebody that would carry this out, not Durk. Why even put a snitch breakdown with Durk in the same tweet? Durk ain't never had no reason to ever put his name in a tweet that's discussing snitches. Vlad just did an about face. He just did an about face. And this was the second tweet where he was on that. Once again, on the 24th. This was right before the last tweet that we just read. A lot of people are saying Durk isn't snitching. His lawyer is. As someone who has paid over $1 million in lawyer fees over the years, let me be 100% clear. Your lawyer can only do what you allow them to do. You pay them, so you have the final say. I personally don't care if Durk is snitching or not. But let me remind everyone that this is the guy who called Gunna and 69 rats, but ended up doing the same thing when he was in their shoes. Is that not clear enough? I don't know why he didn't just delete this if he was going to tweet Durk ain't a rat. But let me remind everyone that this is the guy who called Gunna and 6ix9ine rats, but ended up doing the same thing when he was in their shoes. It's easy to call someone a snitch when you're sitting in the mansion. When the shoe is on the other foot and you're the one facing life in prison, your rules and values would change very quickly. You should, if you were going to, Vlad, I fuck with Vlad, one of the kings of media. One of the king pioneers of this shit. But if Vlad was going to put a tweet up today, by the way, everybody, about face, Durk is not a snitch. Now it's 5 words. He should have deleted when he put those paragraphs up 2 days ago after the opening defense came out. And Durk has earned that fear factor, to be honest. Especially now. Shit. It's the ways of the world, but I seen it. The narrative. Let's continue to finish these people. I got some paperwork for y'all too. Before we go back to see what's up with Jam updates. Nemo 600. It's over there. We're in the OTF chain, right? This is his crew. Ran around all the time with Vaughn. Got a classic song. Ain't no exposing me. I be in the trenches where niggas supposed to be. Dummy. Him and Vaughn. I fuck with a lot of Memo's music. Well, what was he saying right here on the phone with Ack?
Like that shit, Smirk defense team doing police, all that shit police.
Whoa. Wait. What you mean with Smirk? Nah, come on.
Man, look.
Memo, break it down now. Break it down.
I ain't finna get into all that, but all that shit police.
No. Okay, all right. Just explain why you think. So
I gotta see.
So as
They
when you get lawyers, they
fingers
go to
at the
defend
next man. Anybody? Yeah. But yo, man, look. I wanna watch the rest of it before I get to opening my mouth and saying the wrong shit. Like I said, free bro. Hope it ain't coming to what is this shit. No. I feel like that shit Smirk defense team doing police, all this shit police.
Whoa.
Bro.
Wait.
Said Smirk defense is police and all that shit is police. But he said the right thing at the end. He said, I just want to wait to watch the rest. And that's what you do for people that you have high expectations for, like many of us do for Durk on some street shit and for Code and for people that we respect, like Durk. Most of us, if not all of us, right? Including Nemo. So that's the right thing to do. And you got to be a certain person to get that type of leeway and grace. To be honest, that's just the ways of the world. 6ix9ine ain't getting that grace because we never believed you. You ain't getting that grace. You know, and that's why he be mad and he be going off on the fucking internet. They ain't getting that grace. Durk is getting grace. He's got some of y'all even like Vlad going about face like, nah, I'll take back. You know what I mean? But look, Gucci Mane was looked at as the boogeyman. I don't think many people are saying that he's not wrong, right? But to be continued with this stuff with Durk. All right, let's go to quick article. And then I'm going to pull up some paperwork for y'all. Lil Durk murder for hire trial. Prosecutors revisit King Von's murder. Y'all see revenge in the thumbnail, right? I mean, we know this, but 48 hours after being sent footage of Quando Rondo's emotional reaction to his cousin's murder, Lil Durk quietly changed his phone number. That detail, small on its surface, is exactly the kind of prosecutors are using to build their case that Chicago rapper was not just grieving, but orchestrating. Day 2 of Durk's trial for murder for hire in Los Angeles brought FBI agent Jaron Farmby to the stand, where he walked the courtroom through a string of private text conversations between Durk and his close associate, Jason Smith. Okay. The government's argument is that those messages reveal a man who turned personal grief into a blueprint for retaliation. The thread started on November 6, 2020, the night King Von was shot and killed outside Atlanta Hookah Lounge following the confrontation involving Georgia rapper Quando Rondo. Durk texts Smith that he felt like he was dead inside. Smith responded, "You know I'm overprotective of you at all costs." Hours later, Durk was already forwarding surveillance footage of the altercation to Smith. What prosecutors want the jury to focus on is what came next. As videos mocking Von's death circulated online, Durk's tone shifted. After being sent a clip of a rapper dissing the late OTF member, Durk replied, "Just wait on the get back," and followed it with, "When I pop on, I'm on when I pop, I'm on niggas' ass. He also wrote to Smith, I'm dying, turning me into a different animal. Okay. The government then connected those messages to the August 2022 murder of Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pop, real name, yada yada yada. Smith sent Durk a new screenshot about the killing, along with a video of Rondo's distressed reaction to Pop's body near the Escalade he was shot in. That video became a social media meme mocked under the name Quando Rondo Challenge. That got nothing to do with Dirk, though. He ain't start that, but I guess you guys texting about it. They're still using to add color to this shit. Dirk did not respond to any of those messages and changed his number 2 days later. The defense is pushing back hard on the framing. Lawyer Brian still argued that the alleged gang ties being introduced are well beyond what should be admissible in this trial. Yeah, any BD, GD, or gang stuff, I don't even see how it helps that much the prosecution. Are we still getting the gang expert at some point? He was granted, right? They tried to have a motion to get him out of the trial, but government said, nah, or the judge said, nah, we're going to allow him in. But I mean, use the gang expert, I guess, for certain coded language, etc. But OTF is really the only gang insinuation you need. Grouping these guys together under that. What the fuck you give a fuck about BD and GD shit for when you're talking about a fucking Crip from Savannah, Georgia? You know what I mean? The lawyer representing co-defendant OTF Didi, real name DeAndre Wilson, also challenged Formby's credentials as an expert witness, questioning whether his interpretation of the messages should carry the weight the prosecution has given them. Earlier in the day, court was shown evidence of Pop's death being taunted on Instagram, including Didi reacting to a video of Quando Rondo grieving with laughing emoji. The comment he responded to read, "Where y'all pipers at, gang?" We heard that. The defense has not disputed that the messages exist, but the argument over what they actually prove is very much alive. I agree. Lil Tim, real name Timothy Leaks, was initially charged with Vaughn's killing, though that case was eventually dropped. Self-defense. Vaughn's death has remained a raw and heavily referenced point in Chicago rap circles ever since, and now it's sitting at the center of a federal courtroom. The trial is ongoing, and prosecutors appear far from finished laying out their timeline. All right, so a couple details in there that we didn't get a chance to get flushed out from the people or the journalists that we've been following. Paperwork wise, okay, I got you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. I got you. We over there. Paperwork wise, we won't read this whole thing. I think what was this one about? Why I felt like this might be relevant for us today. Versus Dirk, memorandum player. Buying through counts of recorded hereby files. Which one was this one about? This is on the docket today, y'all. Defendant Bank's reliance for proposition that he made. This is what this was. This is paperwork related to them trying to cross-examine one of the prior witnesses based on hearsay statements of cooperators is misplaced. Indeed, the facts, the holdings, and the reasoning of Sager all support this court's previous order precluding such questioning. The defendant in Sager was charged with mail theft. A postal inspector who had conducted the investigation of the charges testified in the grand jury and at trial, but this testimony was inconsistent. In the grand jury, he testified that the store clerk had identified a defendant as the person who made a specific transaction that was tied to the alleged crime. But at trial, it came out that the clerk had merely told the inspector that the defendant looked familiar. All right, we're not going to read through any more of that. What that really was, why I saw that to be relevant, was because this is them putting in significant motions, even as recent as today. And we should still see those based on the type of dream team that he has, calling out people that already performed either in testimony in this trial so far and or grand jury. Go ahead and punch out anything that you can. So his lawyers continue to do a great job, whether they win or lose. All right, thank you, Jay. Let's go back to Taylor Parise again. Okay. So we took a look in on her side yesterday. And here we go now with Taylor Parise. Let's take a look and see what she got going on. 18, 15, 2 hours. Pretty sure this we covered so much already today. I'm pretty sure this will be consistent, but shout out to her. All right. While on the stand, OTF Jam or Hester has been seemingly reluctant to be there. He frequently and they say his first time testifying with or doing an interview with these guys like 3 years ago or some shit. Now you having cold feet? You gotta look at Durk sitting right there now. At the end, gave you all the stuff that he gave. Now I get it. You know, he turned on you. Maybe you feel he didn't help you while you was in jail, or maybe they ride out when your BM got killed and you have your own motives, but don't get the trial now and talk about. Anyway, has been seemingly reluctant to be there. He frequently shakes his head and puts his head in his hands. Really? Is he trying to go Woody? He is fidgeting, rocking his chair back and forth. He speaks low sometimes, hesitant. While watching a video played of Didi or DeAndre Wilson jam, closed his eyes for a moment and chuckled twice as Wilson joked on camera with other members on an Instagram Live. He briefly looked at Wilson when referring to him during testimony, but looked away quickly. Interesting. The reason, let's stay on that tweet for a second. The reason why that, oh, my bad for the shitty view. The reason why that's a little interesting to me is because that it doesn't sound like he's up there like pulling a YSL Woody right now. Like, yo, they got me here on subpoena. I don't really want to be here. Yeah, Woody told in the box before. We saw the footage. But now that I'm here in the trial, I don't really want to do this. And I'm going to bullshit and my memory's going to lapse. I'm not even going to be able to tell you my date of birth. YSL Woody put on a show. Right? Why you shrug your shoulders? Because they mine. Like the best of YSL Woody clips are fucking legendary. But he decided, I'm not doing what y'all got me up here to do. YSL Woody. OTF Jam, at least in this first tweet, doesn't sound like he's on his YSL Woody. It sounds like his soul is catching him a little bit. You're real this. I'm a real nigga that. I'm this, and this used to be my friends, used to be my brothers and all that. We took trips together, did this together, killed people together. You know, maybe his soul. And if his soul fucks with him that deep, he's not going to get up there like 6'9". You know? Will he only be up there for one day? Interesting. All right, let's see the second one. OTF Jam, also known as Casey Hester, is currently testifying. Jam testified he was a leader in Black Disciples and was known as a shooter. He's in mode right there. Explaining there were roles in the gang. While in prison for 12 years, Jam testified that Lil Durk or Dirk Banks called him regularly and put money on his books. Okay, I was going to say put money on people's heads. Sometimes 50, 100, 1,000. Jam said, while in prison, people forget about you. I ain't going to lie. He didn't do that, he said, referring to Dirk. So what are you going to do? You going to sit there and shout him out while he's sitting there watching you testify on him? I ain't gonna lie, man. You held me down. Thank you for that $1,000 that time, you know, my commissary and everything, money on my books. But yeah, anyway, yeah, as far right. Hold on. Let's refresh. Let's refresh Taylor. Okay. And we said Mike got an update. Let's go back to Mike real quick. Mr. Michael Blackshire. Let's see what he got going on 2 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, 23 minutes ago, 27 minutes ago. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. We got testimony here. Did you participate in the shooting August 19, 2022, leading to the death of Lil Pop? OTF Jam. Yes. Prosecutors. Did others in the room participate as well? OTF Jam. Yes. Prosecutors. Can you name them? OTF Jam. Durk, Didi, and Lindsay. Oh, shit. Backwards hat worthy. Oh. Oh, yo, that had to be heartbreaking. In court, y'all, that had to be some heartbreaking shit. Oh. Damn. I can't imagine, B. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Oh my God. Did others in the room participate as well? Yes. Prosecutors, can you name them? Durk, Didi, Lindsay. Shit. OTF Jam discussed how he knew King Von when he was younger because of his sister. Prosecutors, were you trying to talk to his sister at the time? OTF Jam, yes, while smiling. Uh-oh, he's getting comfortable. He's getting comfortable. Smiling, talking about what, flirty type shit? Prosecutors, did Lil Durk keep up with you while you were in prison? OTF Jam, I ain't gonna lie. When he changed his number, he made sure my mom got it. Okay. Prosecutor, did you talk to Mr. Banks after you got out of prison? OTF Jam, yeah. I told Durk I got out of prison and I don't have no clothes. He told me, yes, you do. You got us. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Nasty, 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 y'all. It's bugged out sitting here live reading this shit, ain't it, y'all? It's bugged out, ain't it, y'all? All right. We're about an hour 30 in. Durk coverage only today, possibly until until the Durk trial is over. If we cover other stuff that's going on, I might have to just do uploads, separate uploads. We got to focus on, and there's obviously a lot every day for the Durk trial. So we locked in. Still getting over my cold a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Wow. OTF Jam took the stand today. So the forecast was just a day off. Oh man. So is Vonnie, tomorrow's Thursday. Is Vonnie still gonna make it this week? Do we still feel like this is guns blazing? Or do we feel like it's development? I'm a little bugged out by this shit right now. Reading some of them that's bugged the fuck out. You's a whole killer. And Durk, you and Durk know what happened between y'all. You and Durk know. And I'm pretty sure you have your reasons, man. But to be driven as a man that already did 12 years in prison too, and that could be another reason, motive too, like, man, I ain't doing that again. But as a man that, to be able to say Lindsay, Didi, Durk, I mean, you got to walk it now. You took the plea deal already, and so now it's time to take the stage. But damn, to go through with it, damn. I wish we had video. I want to see his face. I want to see if he said it easily. Like, yeah, it'll go Didi right there, Lindsay, and Durk right there. Yeah, Or if it was just like Didi, Lindsay, and Durk. Self-preservation, soul burning type of shit, you know? Like soul is burning, but if it's gotta be y'all or me, I'm choosing me. Like I wanna know. We'll probably get that tomorrow. People's gonna be talking about his mannerisms and his attitude. And they were talking about Dirk's yet. Dirk's not on the stand. They were talking about Dirk's yesterday. Talk about certain points, whether he, fidgeted or scratched his head or looked like he was upset, So we're gonna get that tomorrow. For OTF Jam. The video is gonna be flying all night. All night. Shit. All right, hold on. Let me see. Let me just double check. Def want to see Dirk. Want to see Dirk face. So the thing about being a defender in a situation like this, you got to stay stone face. You're not supposed to be doing what like Keefe D is doing during his trial right now. You're not supposed to be up there smiling like, you're not supposed to be doing none of that shit. You're supposed to stay stone face. What was the girl from the Julio Fulio case trial? They caught her smiling at times, and that shit went viral and went out. And it was like, look at her. She like the devil. You can't do that. You got to try to stay stone face as possible. Stone face as possible. Shit. Doug Fashion. Good to see you. Good to see you, J Ray, once again. Jay, Tay, everybody, man. We about to jump. Damn, that shit's bugged out. It just bugs me out, man. It just bugs me out. I don't know how people could do so much together and then get to a situation where they do each other like that. Maybe he'll have testimony and explain and turn some people into understanders. Like, oh, I believe that they played a role in my, like who knows? And then some people will have their narratives based on that, but it's just bugged out, period. Brothers, huh? But all right, y'all. We'll be back. Fun stream today as we continue to break down every day. Stay tuned. We'll be back here tomorrow. Anywhere in between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Keep your notifications on. It'll always say the time that we're going to go live. We've been pretty consistent at 5 p.m., but you never know if something comes up that pushes us back in a little 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes or so. Either way, we are here. We're gonna stay consistent on this Durk trial every day of coverage, and I'm going to try to do my best to sneak in uploads for the other stuff that's going on. All-Star JR shit starts next week. We got the Yellow Beezy and Mo3 shit. We got the Keefe D shit still going on. We got the RBE channel stuff that we got to keep up with. The Durk trial is prioritized. I enjoy this more than any other type of content. The trials. And I enjoy this more. And I hope y'all do too. So if we got to make time for one every day, it's going to be this. But keep your eyes on both channels. I'm going to do my best to still get the other stuff done. Salute, homie. Really, really appreciate you. As well as all the chime-ins, the heads up, the jewels, Jay, of course, today. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Damn, I'm going to be glued to my phone for the rest of the night, too. It's like, I got to let it go. I'm going to get off. I'll see y'all in a little bit.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
One of the toughest characters ever to bulldog his way into
the house
your
up. Shout out to them.
Without my still got a gun.